Hello everyone, this is Chris here. Welcome to my Alone Zone. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for the positive feedback on my last video about cooking. I can't believe that people would actually want to watch me do it. It makes me feel good. But I want to stress that, one, I'm not a classically trained chef. I have no schooling. It's just something that I picked up when I was young. And I always loved cooking. I've been watching the Food Network since it came on the air in 93, 94. Before that I was watching the PBS cooking shows. And so something that, the one positive in my life is I've always been good at absorbing knowledge. And so I watch these shows and I learn from those shows and I absorb it. And to me in life, getting a piece of paper should not make you a better candidate for a job. And for me, when it came to cooking, I felt as though that you don't need that degree to make it in that world, because so many great chefs don't have that degree. Because cooking is something that anyone can do if you just, well, it's not hard, you know. I know for some people they can't cook, but it's something that anyone can do if you just do it enough times. Basically, okay, let's say you can't cook and you watch a video and you want to really learn how, and so you watch a video, and while you're doing it, basically you try to imitate. So you're watching the video of somebody cooking something, and so you got the video going, and now you're in your kitchen and you're trying to do what they're doing. Teach yourself, you know. For me, watching my grandfather and then my grandmother, hearing from them, watching the cooking shows, so I self-taught myself. And then, you know, when I got into the restaurant business early on, I started out at a restaurant with the one of the top chefs in Pensacola, Florida. His name is Gus Syllabus, and I watched him. Even though I was at the bottom rung, I was the prep cook. I chopped up, you know, all the vegetables and salads, and pretty much I was like the gopher for the head guy, the chefs and the line cooks and such. But I watched, I absorbed, and I watched Gus. I watched him, and unfortunately, you know, the depression, the anxiety, and the fact that I was self-medicating really hurt. And, you know, along with the other restaurants I worked in were very seedy. You know, there's so much speed going around those restaurants. There was no really, like, good environment for me, even if I thought about, you know, recovering and such of that nature and, you know, trying to move forward. The problem is, you know, and like I said in the last video, clear-mindedness is very big when it comes to working in a restaurant. To me, how those chefs were able to do it with the amount of speed I saw them do is just incredible. But they did it. For me, though, it's not just in those days, it wasn't just the drugs, but it was the depression, not feeling accepted, not feeling wanted, and, you know, it was just kind of hard, and I really hate that I went down that road, and I really hate that, you know, I ever started self-medicating, and, to this day, God, is one of the biggest regrets I have in life, that I chose to do that, because it didn't help anything. But then, luckily for me, I decided, you know what, no more street drugs. I'm going to go into methadone maintenance. And, well, methadone maintenance is not the best thing in the world. And honestly, I don't suggest it to anyone other than if you really want to get off the street drugs that bad, do it. But maybe try to explore other routes. For me, I didn't really explore other routes like I should have, but I got off the street, you know, dope. And the thing was, you know, by this point, the depression, everything was just so bad, and I knew I could no longer work. And I know I explained in the last video the reasons why. One, the atmosphere in restaurants are conducive to drug use, and depending on the restaurant you work in, I know it's been a few years, but I don't need to get back into that setting. And two, not thinking clear, I could injure myself, injure someone else. And, you know, it's just three, the anxiety, the amount of people, and the fact that my body is just not capable of handling that stressful workload right now. So, but again, back to cooking, it was just a passion of mine, and among others, but cooking was something I really knew I could do and I would be good at. And unfortunately for me, I never took it any further, you know. I didn't do anything with it. I never made it as the main guy in the restaurant. I never worked myself up the ladder like I should have. All because I wasn't thinking clearly, and because the depression was and everything and the anxiety was just getting so bad, and I was just overdoing it on the self-medicating front and using too much. It's just I couldn't do it, and either I quit the job or I got fired for not showing up because I would just get so out of there, and they knew something was going on. And that's the biggest regret in my life. Well, one of the biggest regrets is the self-medication, and I will touch on that. When I first attempted suicide at the age of 15, I was put in a home for 3 weeks. Well, basically, I lied my way out of there because I was tired of being there. I lied and said, oh, I'm better, everything's fine, and that wasn't the case. And they recommended outpatient therapy and medication. Well, my grandmother wouldn't pay for the medications and wouldn't let me go to therapy. She just blew it off. So, a year later, I tried suicide again at 16. Same thing. Oh, they let me go. Grandma wouldn't pay for the stuff. She didn't believe, you know, what was going on. And I can't really blame her. It was all new to her. But I felt so bad. And I needed something. And I was just tired and miserable. And so I discovered, pain pills. And then marijuana. And then, you know, as it progressed, it goes up. But anyways, that's how that all started. And I'd like to think if my grandmother would have let me stay in therapy and got those medicines then, even though later in life when I got on those medicines, they didn't work, even my therapist says, at 15, the first time, had you tried them then, when you were younger, more than likely they would have worked for you then. The reason they're not working for you now, among other things, is the issues have progressed and gotten worse. Along with the self-medicating, your mind and everything has, you know, been affected negatively by that, and your body's changed and such. So I don't fault my grandmother at all. She didn't know no better, but you know, things could have been so much differently had my first suicide attempt. I would have been able to maintain therapy and actually stay, you know, with the medications. Again, I can't blame her. It's not her fault this happened. I was already predisposed to it. And it was just, everything around me was just too much for me to handle. Again, I didn't have the willpower or the mentality to just get over it or just brush it off. You know, everything affected me. I desired and wanted so much, and when I tried and failed, that hurt me. And it's like my life, you know, was always everything seemed like every time there were positives, it's just like something happened to take it away. And I don't understand why. I know everyone has their issues, and life is not easy for anyone, but it just, I ponder this all the time. Why, for me, every time a little positive happens, something that I had nothing to do with me, it's always something else that happens that takes it away. And I guess I never really have any answer for that. But, you know, it's just, self-medication is not the way to go, and I really want to stress it to any young person out there going through the things that I went through. Please, please do not turn to drugs. Don't do it. You will regret it. They don't help. They may take away the pain temporarily, but they're not going to take away the problems, and in fact, they're going to make the problems worse. And eventually, you're going to take so much dope that you're going to need more, and more, and more, and more. And then you're going to find yourself overdosing like I did. God, I don't know. I mean, I call it a suicide attempt, yes, because I was self-medicating and putting it into my body. But in my early 20s, I overdosed. And whether I did it intentionally or not, I did. Passed out, God, I don't know how long. My grandmother said she didn't see me for over a day. And She came in and found me, passed out on the floor, and I think I was probably passed out for well into 18 plus hour range, I guess. It's hard to remember, but it is what it is. And I just want to let you kids know, or anyone else out there, don't do it. Drugs are not worth it. Go and seek, prescription meds. And I'm not going to say they're going to work for you. Just because they didn't work for me does not mean they won't work for you. They may. Everyone's body chemistry is different. And even if you get on prescription meds and they don't work, seek other alternatives. Because when you're young, you still have more hope. Me, I'm 32. I'm not young anymore. The avenues for me are closing. The road for me is, shorter than it is for you. And if you have a passion in life, something you think you're really good at, keep with it. I was good at cooking. Had I really stuck with it, had I really let the positiveness of the fact that I was a good cook outweigh all the negatives in my life, and I let the positive aspect of that beat the negative, I probably would have overcame. But on top of the fact that I was self-medicating, along with feeling unaccepted, rejected, unwanted, the fact that every time a little positive came, something always came in and took it away, my mind was not clear, and so I didn't succeed. But if you're young, you're still in high school, or maybe in your late teens, early 20s, there's still hope for you. And if you haven't turned to drugs already, please don't. It's just not an answer at all. But again, thanks for all the support. I honestly didn't think anyone would want to watch me cook. But that has to be something I need to get back into. And admittedly, I don't. All I eat these days is microwave dinners and stuff you can put in the oven. And just because I don't cook a lot anymore doesn't mean I forgot how. And I still watch all the cooking shows and stuff. But for me, cooking meals like that reminds me of how alone I am, because cooking is something you share with others. It's an experience. It's like it brings people together. Food does. And if I sit and cook a meal, I'm like, well, I have no one to cook for but me. What's the point of this? There's no point in making a big mess when I can just throw a TV dinner in the microwave or throw a pizza in the oven. Hell, I even own a bed, but I sleep on the couch. Why? The bed's too big for me. Even though I'm a big guy, that couch is made for one. And even though it's uncomfortable as hell, I don't care. Sleeping in that bed reminds me of how alone I am, and I will never, ever sleep in another bed again by myself. The next time I sleep in a bed, it's either going to be A, because I'm put into a home and they put me in a bed, B, something terrible happens and I go to jail, or C, I meet somebody. Because sleeping in a bed by yourself, and I did sleep, trust me, I've slept in my bed before, but I came to a realization, it's like, this is just reminding me how much I'm alone. And waking up in this bed every day, looking over and there's nobody there, it's getting old when I can wake up on the couch and look over and there's the back of the couch, and there's no room for anybody else, so it doesn't make me feel as alone. It's strange, I know, but that's all, just a random video, just throwing some things out there just to get a video out. Hopefully I adjusted these camera settings a little bit. I took everything off auto and put some manual settings in there, and I'm hoping that they reduce the brightness coming from this window here. And also, I haven't tried a video outside of the car yet. Hopefully when I do, that redness that I described in my last video goes away. If not, hey, it is what it is. I'll be getting a better camera early next year. I cannot wait. The quality will be better, and you guys, won't have to put up with choppy audio or bright spots in the video. But again, I thank everyone for watching, and that's it. That's all. This has been Chris. You've been in my zone, and I'm out. Peace.